Welcome to AOL BUILD.
Thank you very much.
And by the way, it's very exciting. This is her first day promoting the book, just released today, making one of her first stops right here at AOL BUILD. So we're really excited to have you here.
Thank you.
I got to tell a quick story about you before we dive into the book.
Okay.
But I got the chance to get to know Dita a few years ago. On Twitter, she had posted about fencing. I'm an Olympic fencer. And I just troll the internet for people who are posting about fencing. And I saw that she'd posted about it. I said, would you like a fencing lesson? And I think like a few weeks later...
Weeks? Are you sure?
Maybe. Was it longer or shorter?
I feel like it was like 3 minutes later.
3 minutes later, I was giving her a fencing lesson.
Oh, I replied like 3 minutes
You
later.
replied 3 minutes later, yeah. And then we were fencing. I just came over and we were fencing right away. But you learn a lot teaching someone to fence, and I wasn't expecting like, okay, I'm going to teach Dita Von Teese to fence. What is it going to be like? I knew her from, obviously... She's known for burlesque and a lot of different things. Oh, there she is as the fiercest looking fencer ever to don the outfit. But she was so precise, so on it, and she was really into the fashion too.
Yeah.
She was sending me all these pictures. There we go, the Von Teese outfit. But
I really want to wear that outfit though, the really old-fashioned one with the heart, the red heart.
I know I'm waiting for one of your shows to break out the fencing.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the book. It comes out today, and
Yes.
had a chance to look it through. It is awesome, by the way. So
Thank you.
This
It's a big
is
book.
it right here. It is a big book. So if you get it at the bookstore, you're going to need a bag to carry this in. Tell me a little bit. What is your take on this book?
Well, I wanted to write the antidote to traditional beauty books, which are often about beauty rules and how to look, natural and how to look, like everyone else, basically. So I wanted to write this book, which I call The Ultimate Guide to Eccentric Glamour, for people that want to break the rules of beauty, that love makeup. There's obviously a lot of my inspiration, which is retro glamour, which is something that I always loved since I was a little girl, and I used to watch old movies with my mother. So my beauty icons are people like Rita Hayworth and Hedy Lamarr and Marilyn Monroe. So I always loved that look, and I found that it was more interesting to me when I grew older. I'm a natural blonde from a farming town in Michigan, not much to look at, and I always liked the idea of a big Hollywood makeover, so I taught myself how to do that. And the book is really just like a different perspective on beauty in general, like a lot of celebration of diversity and unique icons of beauty.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting part looking through it is your advice perhaps on beauty is maybe different for what you're going to read in a lot of what's out there. For example, makeup. I think you're a big proponent of makeup. Talk to me a little about just your take on that, how maybe that's a little bit different than...
Yeah. Well, I love glamour. I love that glamour isn't about having a lot of money, because my first experience with glamour was with a 99-cent Wet n Wild lipstick when I was a teenager, and I didn't always have a lot of money to spend on clothes. That's how I started dressing in vintage clothes, was because I couldn't afford new designer clothes. So it's one of the reasons I loved retro style. So I think I love glamour because it's not about how young you are, or how much money you have, or what your shape or size is, or even being pretty. Glamour is something else, and I meet glamorous, intriguing, fascinating people all the time that aren't even, classically or traditionally pretty, or, what American standards of beauty are. A lot of my icons are people that had something a little bit different about them, so...
And in the book, she talks about doing her own makeup. She does do her own makeup. I just witnessed it backstage, so this is all her. I was really fascinated reading through some of the people you got to review the book, some of their comments. I want to read you a couple, and she has the most, I think, diverse and eclectic mix of people that are fans of hers. But so I'm gonna read a couple to you, and we'll talk. So. Dita is an original because she is always inventing. By invention, I mean this very gracious girl from a small town America discovered her true self. She can never be boring or bored because she is always inventing, always discovering, yes, through beauty, but most importantly, through intelligence. That's Christian Louboutin, who, by the way, calls you his #1 muse, as a lot of fashion designers have. What does that mean? What does it mean to be someone's muse?
I mean, a muse is someone that you sort of have a connection with, that you are inspired by, and you inspire them, and you have the same belief systems about certain things. So Christian and I connected when, he first started designing shoes for showgirls. And he saw my one of my burlesque shows in London, and we became fast friends after that.
You seem to have this like a lot of designers seem to really react to you. What is it about, I know Christian Louboutin, you mentioned your reinvention, but is it someone that you're on this journey and of fashion and glamour? What is it about you that you think that makes some people react?
I think, I don't have a stylist, first of all. I go see a show and I see the things that I like, and I make direct connections with the designers or the people that work for the designers, and I go in and pick out my outfits for the red carpet. I don't have like a team of people that does that. That's very common now, and so I think a lot of them respect that I am self-styled and self-created, and I'm not the product of like a team of a glam squad like many people have. So, and also I connect with Christian over the showgirls thing. I mean, I don't connect with every designer, but Jean-Paul Gaultier, because we have a mutual love of corsetry and bullet bras and things, and lingerie as outerwear. So I think it's just like certain people that I think we have the same kind of childhood obsessions.
It's probably the originality too, right? There's so many people just copycatting things that people are doing, but you seem to be sort of always at your own pace.
I just think, everybody has different muses. I guess the people that that are attracted to me and that I'm attracted to are people that are really have like a strong thread in their work or obsessions with certain things that we connect on.
Okay, so here's RuPaul. Dita is the definition of true glamour.
That's like
that is high praise.
Nice quote coming from the queen of glamour.
How did you first connect with RuPaul?
I was a big fan for a long time, and I would go to I have a lot of drag queen friends, so I would go to a lot of drag shows in LA, and he would be there sometimes, never in drag, of course. And then I did RuPaul's Drag Race a couple times as well, and I know so many of the RuPaul's Drag Race winners and participants.
Was that a fun experience doing the show?
Yeah, I love it. We're all wearing drag one way or another, or whatever, whether it's my red lipstick and my cat eye eyeliner or full-blown drag like RuPaul does. We all are doing it. You've got your drag on there too.
I definitely today was like, what am I going to wear for this interview? So I wore the white shoes, which was kind of a bad idea in the rain here in New York City.
Look.
But thank you. All right, one more review for you. So Dita brought out my love for clothes and makeup, and we looked great together. Two misfits from the Midwest who like to play dress up, and she gave me Lily, my beautiful cat. And for that, I'll always have some love in my heart for that fashionable bitch. That is, of course, your ex-husband, Marilyn Manson. Yeah. First question, how is Lily the cat doing?
She's good. We exchange pictures of our cats. I have custody of Dita Von Teese, who has like 60,000 followers on Instagram. Little plug for Alistair there. So we share pictures of our cats. Still, we connected on being from the Midwest and kind of creating our own personas and looks. We're both blonde from the Midwest, so
who learned more from who about makeup and fashion?
Well, he always gives me credit for teaching him about fashion, but I give him a lot of credit and sort of guidance on a lot of business type things. He always helped me a lot with that. He's a very smart businessman.
You guys are still friendly.
Yeah,
have
it
a good
took a while. We
relationship.
had a pretty nasty divorce, but time heals all wounds, and we're good friends now.
Yeah, this is pretty. Except for the bitch comment, it's pretty high praise over here. But I think he meant it affectionately.
It's so him.
I'm gonna guess so. I loved in your book, I think you had to quote something about when you're on the red carpet, you just pinch yourself, or you feel like Alice in Wonderland, sort of living this dream. And you really are, you mentioned it already, but from a small town in Michigan. How did this journey start? And if you look online, you can see Dita in her high school days, and you've been on this, it's sort of interesting journey. What about that time in Michigan shaped who you are now, and where do you trace this back to?
I have a lot of, I feel like the things that I was obsessed with as a little girl and what I wanted to be when I grew up. I was a ballet dancer, and I loved ballet, and I loved old movies, and I wanted to be a lady more than anything else. I remember being like tick-tock waiting as a child till I was a grown-up lady and I could make my own decisions. I could wear whatever clothes I wanted, because I was that girl that wanted to wear my Sunday best every day, and I'm still like that, you know. That's why I'm usually overdressed for every occasion. I just think like, what's the occasion? The occasion is life. I'm getting dressed, I'm putting on my makeup, it's a ritual, it's something I love. Like, I celebrate being a woman. So, yeah, I think like that my childhood dreams are all sort of, they maybe aren't what I thought they would be when I was little. I didn't grow up being a ballerina like I wanted to.
That was your dream, was ballerina?
Yeah, I wanted to be a ballerina. But then when I thought about it one day, I thought, well, I kind of have all the things that I wanted about being a ballet star. I mean, I'm a burlesque dancer, I'm a striptease artist, but I still have the glamour element. I get to wear amazing costumes. I get to wear dramatic makeup. I get, flowers backstage and champagne. And even more, my career is not over at like 30, like a lot of ballerinas. I have a little bit more longevity than most ballerinas. And, sometimes the things that are I wasn't talented enough to be a ballerina, basically. And so sometimes you have to go a different way to achieve something, and you can take it to a place where you didn't think was possible because you didn't have that natural God-given talent. I always have a thing for people that had to work a little bit harder and had to write their own story and choose their own path. So, I'm grateful that I didn't have the talent to be a great ballerina, and I had to do something else, make up a new story.
Yeah, it's amazing how things work out though, the way they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Are people surprised when they meet you? I mean, if they've seen kind of your public persona, and then you are very, I don't know, the first thing that struck me is how sweet and sort of almost shy you come across a little bit when you meet. I was just expecting this exuberant person the first time I met you, but what kind of reaction do you get when people actually meet you and get to know you?
People think I'm short, first of all. They're like, oh, she's so short. I guess I photograph bigger. I don't know, bigger in every way. I don't know. I guess, yeah. I mean, I am pretty shy when it comes down to it. And it's when I was younger, I always thought like doing myself up like this was a way of counteracting my shyness. And I guess it still is in a way. It gives me more confidence when I have my lipstick in place and wearing clothes that I like.
Is it sort of like, was it Beyonce with her Sasha Fierce persona when she takes the stage?
No, I don't have that alter ego. I don't have like stage fright or anything like that. I just, I feel like I realized that my burlesque shows were more interesting to watch when I kind of let Heather Sweet from Michigan come through on stage along with the persona that I created. But I never wanted to have like an alter ego or pretend I was somebody else. I wanted a big Hollywood look. I wanted to have I wanted to be the opposite of what I was. I didn't want to be blonde. I wanted to be something more exotic. I always dreamed of being exotic.
That seemed like a big decision, like changing the hair color, right? Was that like a big decision for you?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like you sort of traced that in your book to like, I don't know, taking a big step in your life was sort of how much does how you change your appearance, even in small ways, make kind of a big difference?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always, when I was in my early 20s and I was playing a lot with my hair and my makeup, and I got made fun of a lot, of course. People used to hurl insults at me about how I looked because with the white skin and the black hair and the red lips, I got called, Elvira and like Dracula's wife and all these kinds of things, and told to get a tan. But I just kind of like could never.
Where are those people now?
Well, I mean, they're still out there.
Yeah.
They're still out there. But it's fine. I always kind of took it as a compliment because I thought like, okay, who's that coming from? It's an insult. Like, it's like water off a duck's back. It's like there's somebody else that likes the way that I look. And as I always say, you can be a juicy ripe peach and there'll be someone that doesn't like peaches.
That's very true. Do you think people are getting worse online about people's appearance and looks and stuff, or has it always just been there, but now with social media we have sort of more of people have an outlet to criticize directly a little bit more?
I think what's happening now, which is interesting, you still have just as many people doing that, but you have more people that are sort of like standing up for that and saying, kind of putting them in their place, whereas you didn't before. You just had trolls, and now you have people that are like, hey, they're standing up and they're not letting people get away with bullying. But ultimately, it's just like you can't pay attention to it. You do just really have to like let it like bounce off you and let it go away. Because I mean, we all experience it whether it's, whether you're known or not, or whether you're subjecting yourself to being, in the public eye or not. We're all have been bullied throughout our lives or made fun of or whatever. So you kind of just have to like do your best to be strong and let it go. Don't let it get into you. Like I always imagine it's like when I see something accidentally, or if it comes at me, then imagine it just like bouncing off and going somewhere else and back to them. Like it's not. You don't let it go in. Don't let it sink in.
It's tough though when you're young, I think too.
It is really
people used to make fun
hard.
of the way I fenced, and
The older that you get,
Yeah.
the less you care about
Yes,
stuff like
that's
that. I'm
true.
like, then we'll be like 90 one day and you really don't care. It's like that's what I love about aging is you stop letting those things affect you.
let me ask, what do you consider yourself? Because there are people that tag you all different kinds of things. Do you consider yourself an artist, or how would you define who you are?
I don't know. I have a hard time with that because I don't know. I mean, I'm a lingerie designer. I'm a writer now, and I'm a performer. I love creating burlesque shows. I love creating fantasy and spectacle, and I love the role that I've played in the resurgence of this burlesque striptease, which was something originally intended as entertainment for men, which is now in its new form. It's a decidedly like a new kind of feminist movement where all the audience is like 80% female. It's really
Is that right?
interesting. Yeah, I mean, when I do a show, it's overwhelmingly female. And the people that are there that are men are either on the arm of their significant other or they're gay. It's like you won't find a group of straight guys hanging out at a burlesque show. So it's very interesting.
What do you think about what you've done has sort of brought burlesque sort of back to the forefront? Because really now, I mean, I think it's similar to what I'm doing with fencing. Like, how have you brought it to where it is today and have this sort of new following?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to watch the evolution of it. It's become, when I have a full-length review called Strips for Prey, and it celebrates diversity, and the cast is, all different kinds. You can see a beautiful act from The Crazy Horse in Paris. You can see, different body shapes and different ethnicities and some gender-bending roles in burlesque. And so I think it's like a really interesting twist on striptease, and a lot of people are enjoying seeing a show like that because they can see that being sexy comes in all forms, and it is about the art of creation. It's not about the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue is not something I could ever relate to or ever come close to. But burlesque and pinup is something that is about creation. It's about the red lipstick and the hair and the glamour and the lingerie and the stockings and garters and corsets and gloves. There's all these tools that you can kind of accentuate and disguise things.
Cool. I want to ask you about the creative process of this book, because you obviously have created shows. What was this like doing this book, and how does it compare to the other sort of creative endeavors that you've engaged with?
Well, I spent about almost 5 years on this book.
Wow.
Like 4 to 5 years. There were a lot of things that it took a backseat to a lot of other projects that I was working on, but in the end, it's a much different book than it would have been if I'd written it 5 years ago, even from my perspective on life 5 years ago and the things that I've learned in the last 5 years. So I think I was able to make a book that was really, I could tell a more personal story than I was willing to tell 5 years ago, and I could really I laid out every detail that I could think of. I left no stone unturned, and I didn't, edit myself in the book. I just sort of wanted to really be thorough in it, and also make it an entertaining read for somebody who doesn't care about beauty. It's still a fun read, and there's a lot to learn in it.
There's a lot of technical stuff in here, but there's also a lot of life philosophy and the people you admire as well.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of people who I call my glambassadors. They're all people that believe in the art of glamour, people that are eccentric beauties that I know from different parts of the world that I think are, changing people's ideas of what beauty is, and I think that they had really important stories to tell that I think will resonate with certain readers.
I want to be a glambassador. How do I do that?
You are.
That sounds awesome. What is your biggest glamour beauty advice for people?
It's really about celebrating the things that make you different from other people, because I know it can be hard. We're fed such like certain standards of beauty all the time about like how thin you should be, or how cute your little nose should be, or how blue your eyes should be. And I think one of the things I talk about a lot in the book are the like people that have different features and how amazing that is and can be. And so it's really about like, celebrating the things that make you different. That's what makes you, special, and makes you desirable, I think.
Cool. Well, I think we're going to take some questions for the audience for you as well. So.
Okay.
Who is your favorite actress that made you who you are today and pinup model?
I have to say my favorite films when I was little, I loved 1940s era Technicolor, like the World War II era. They made these beautiful patriotic films that were full of glamour and beauty, and Betty Grable she was the biggest star of that time. And even though I didn't model my look after her, she's someone that I liked her personality, both on and off screen. And I love those films. To me, it was like watching a cartoon when I was little. It was better, and so it really stayed with me.
What are you watching these days?
These days,
yeah,
same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I can watch those films over and over. I mean, I watch other things too. But.
Right
Hi,
up here.
you're gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you very
I was
much.
wondering, besides dancing, how do you stay so skinny?
Thank you.
Yeah.
You have to get the book. It's in here as well.
Well, I mean, that's funny you use the word the skinny, which is a word I'm not crazy about, because I don't want to be skinny. I want to be strong, and I want to be like curvaceous. So I don't really watch my weight. I'm very, in fact, I'm usually like want to counteract my workouts and make sure that I'm, still staying in a feminine shape. But I do a lot of Pilates, and I take ballet classes occasionally when I feel like my mind can connect with my body, because it's not always easy to be in the headspace. But yeah, I mean, I eat pretty sensibly. There's a lot of stuff in the book. I mean, I love to indulge, but at the same time, I see that as an indulgence. I eat a lot of whole foods, a lot of, I don't eat things in packages. Is kind of one of my rules of thumb. No things that are in the package. No things with that they sell on TV either. I'm kind of have a thing like I don't eat, fast food very, very often. So I don't know. Sensible eating and exercise.
Right up here.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
So I love that you have that eccentric kind of glamour, but I was kind of wondering what you thought about brands that kind of strive off that natural beauty look, like Bare Minerals and stuff like that.
Well, I guess I mean, when I see like the natural beauty companies, I mean, I just see it as something I could also use. I see it in my own way. Even if they're representing a certain ideal of beauty, I think like, oh, how can would I use that? How could I use that? I guess I just, I don't know. I don't really, whenever I've worn a natural makeup, I have every Halloween, I take off my red nail polish and lipstick, and one of my friends who does like a lot of celebrities makeup, like a lot of famous like natural makeup beauties, and he does my makeup, and I put on like a kind of natural blonde wig, and I go as like, what I would look like if I didn't do myself up like this, and no one recognizes me. And the thing that I notice the most, though, is it's so much makeup, all that bronzing powder and all that highlighter and the lip gloss, and it takes a lot to get that natural beauty look, I have to say. It takes more time than my look takes.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I wanted to ask you, what are some of the lingerie staples every woman should have?
Well, thank you for asking a lingerie question. I have my own lingerie line. I think that black lace lingerie looks good on everyone, and I also, my lingerie line is really about everyday glamour. I design things that are wearable in everyday life. I don't think there should be lines between what you wear for seduction or to be sexy. I think that you can have it all. I don't believe in disposable lingerie or lingerie that you put on for someone else. I believe in wearing things that make you feel good about yourself. So I think black lace lingerie, having a good set, a great fitting bra, make sure you're wearing the right size, of course. I always say to buy more than one pair of the underwear, preferably different shapes so that you have versatility, because we all, even if you have a certain preference of a style, it's good to have options for your wardrobe and the longevity of the set. And try a garter belt and stockings. It's a classic, elegant, timeless, and erotic all at once, and it's hard to find all those things in one package.
Nice. Good conversation.
Yeah. I love
So
lingerie.
speaking of books and lingerie, this is the start of your book tour. You have a couple
Yes.
appearances coming up. Tell if people want to catch you and
Yes.
get some signed books, where should they head to?
Tonight I am tonight, oh my gosh, it is tonight. Tonight I'm at Rizzoli, and then tomorrow night I'm in the Bloomingdale's lingerie department with my lingerie collection and signing the book as well.
That is going to be the coolest book signing ever.
Yeah, and for anybody
Lingerie and
that's
books.
in LA, I'm at the Grove on Friday, if you know LA.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming to AOL Build. This is the book, Your Beauty Mark. It is awesome. Even I got tons of great stuff out of it, but I'm sure some of you guys might get even more. But thank you so much, and we
you
wish you the
very
best
much.
of luck. And
Thank you.
Dita Von Teese, everyone.
Thank you.